Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Conspirial. I'm your host, Addison Rose.
And I'm fucking tired.
From, like
Life.
fucking tired?
No.
Like you're, no? It's just a question. You brought it up. Anywho, today we're going to talk about, honestly, something I know of, like, in, like, pop culture and, like, the references people make about it, but I really had no idea the extent of what we're getting into today. I'm actually very excited about this. We're going to talk about...
Scott Disick.
I mean, there's not too much... he lost, right? I mean, he flat out... I mean... Travis Barker, way to go, man. You're holding up... You're holding up everything that he let down. But no, we are not talking about that. We're actually talking about the Lindbergh Baby conspiracy and the kidnapping, death, arrest.
No, not the spoilers.
I mean, it happened in the 30s. What are we really spoiling? I mean, it's almost 100 years old. Like in like 9 years, it'll be like 100 years old, which is crazy. It's a long time. But anyways, due to that length of time where it happened, you can imagine not only
That length of time.
What'd I say?
That length of time.
The length of time? Oh, because the lisp, or
Isn't it length of time?
What'd I say?
Length of time.
What are you saying? Oh, I'm not hearing the difference here.
You're
Hold
saying
on.
it like L-I-I-I.
A length of time. You know what? My accent is very unique.
What did I just do?
You don't got to bring that up.
What did I
How I
just do?
say, yeah, you're annoying me is what you're doing. But anyway, we're talking about the Lindbergh kidnapping conspiracy.
I pinched you.
You pinched me.
I pinched you. Nah, say it how you say it. Say it with your chest.
You pinched me. If that's what you want. I can't say it's. I can try to say it. Pinched. We're getting off topic. So we're gonna be talking about a little bit of the backstory, just so that you're aware. I'm gonna dive into the events leading before the arrest itself, trial, conspiracy surrounding it. So fucking tired. If you wanna
Fucking go, yeah.
if you wanna fucking go.
Okay, March 1st, 1932. At around 10 p.m., the Lindbergh's nurse, it said nurse, but I'm assuming nanny?
But yeah, you have to understand. I mean, this guy could have actually had a nurse. You know what I mean? And before
I should live-in nurse.
I should have. You have to understand. At this time in the early 30s, this guy was the closest thing to like a
Kim
god
Kardashian.
or an influencer. He was like the influencer of the 30s. This guy did the solo trip across the Atlantic, first person to do that. He just shattered everyone's belief about what men could do, fly and all that stuff. And I know the Wright brothers obviously debatably created it or whatever, but the fact that he was able to do what he did, people were just infatuated with this man, and he became like almost like a god to these people. Gave him so much hope for the future and everything that we could accomplish as a nation and all that. So the fact that I don't. It could be a nanny,
where my mind went was Romeo and Juliet, because there's a nurse.
Ah,
right?
Yeah.
Was she a nanny? Like,
yeah, I guess it's kind of like.
I guess I should have researched that better.
I mean, not that important. That's the sound of the police.
Fuck 12.
Whoop. That's a so. Gotta love that live audio. So, I don't know, but kind of like in the olden days, how like the dentist was actually a barber too. So I don't know. You might have like similar things. Like, hey, can you shave my beard and yank this tooth? Yeah, dude, all day. I got that. So go on. So I just wanted to put that in perspective. Like, this wasn't just a pilot, like how we think of like American Airlines. Like, no, like it wasn't like that. It wasn't. This dude did something unbelievable. So
yeah, lose his fucking baby. So at around 10 p.m. the Lindberghs.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. Well,
the Lindbergh's nurse and I put in parentheses nanny question mark. Betty Gao noticed 20-month-old, so almost 2-year-old Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. wasn't with his mom, Anne Morrow Hathaway, Anne Morrow Lindbergh, who had just finished bathing. So mom gets out of taking a bath, and the nurse is like, "Where's the baby?" So when she noticed mom doesn't have the baby, she doesn't have the baby. Betty goes and finds Charles Sr., dad, and lets him know that, where's the baby? I don't have him. Mom doesn't have him. You seen him? So Charles runs to the baby.
I want to see the baby.
So Charles runs to baby Charles's room, and instead of finding his baby, he found a ransom note containing really bad handwriting and grammar in the envelope of a windowsill. It's not funny, but I think it's funny that's what he. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
the spelling in this is terrible.
Yeah, if you're gonna kidnap my child, penmanship is all I ask for. Is that so difficult?
Can I understand?
I know they had typewriters. You couldn't.
They didn't have autocorrect on those.
Yeah, but you still could have not handwritten a goddamn ransom note. Put the time. Dedication is what we're after.
So, the crusty ransom note stated, "Dear Sir, I have 50,000 ready," and ready spelled REDY, 25,000 in $20 bills, 15,000 in $10 bills, and 10,000 in $5 bills. After 2 to 4 days, we will inform you where to deliver the money. Money is spelled MONY. We warn you.
Don't stop now. Come on.
We warn you for making anything public. Anything is spelled AN. Stop reading my notes. ANYDING. Public, or for notify the police the child is in GUT. GUT care. And the letters were signed with 3 holes, like
in the baby? There's 3 holes in the baby?
No, the note.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so the family butler, Watley, called the Hopewell Police Department, while Charles Sr. contacted his attorney friend Henry Breckenridge and the New Jersey State Police. So that was like something for me. I was, well, your baby's missing and you call your attorney? That's sus. So Hopewell Police and New Jersey State Police arrived to the scene, and all the officers did an extensive search of their big ass house and their big ass area. After midnight, after no sign of baby Charles, a fingerprint expert came and examined the ransom note, and they also found like a homemade ladder, a makeshift ladder.
Right.
Did I skip that? No. So while they were searching, they found like a homemade ladder, and
leading up to the bedroom.
Yeah,
where
leading
the
up to the
was.
bedroom of the baby, where the baby was. So the fingerprint expert came and dusted the room, dusted the ladder, and found that there were no adult fingerprints, only children fingerprints, and so that was weird. Because you think the nurse is going in, you think dad's coming in, you think mom's coming in.
On the ladder. Or talking about in the room.
In the room and on the ladder.
Gotcha.
In the baby's room and on the ladder.
Gotcha.
So,
babies making ladders, man. That's what's wrong with America today. No, the child labor laws are destroying. Kids should be able to work.
They actually...
Totally kidding. Jesus.
It was a snowy day, too, so they didn't find any footprints. So the forensic fingerprint expert ended up saying that he believed that the kidnapper wore gloves and wore some sort of like cloth to cover, I guess, the brand of his shoes or any imprints the shoe would have made. So they found nothing.
But there would still be like impressions.
But I'm getting to why there might not be.
Okay.
So no fingerprints in the baby's room and no fingerprints in the window. I don't know why I'm struggling.
What about the walls? What about the strip? Sweat dropped out.
Yeah, so I have a note where I put like the fuck that they wiped down the area, but if they would have wiped it down, they would have wiped out the kid fingerprints as well. So that was weird.
A little foreshadow. I have a little bit about that in my thing too, so we'll get to a little bit more. Yeah.
And to me, I relate this kidnapping a lot to the John Bonet kidnapping, because So when word of baby Charles's kidnapping started spreading around real quickly, I don't know how they did it back then.
So this baby was sexy, like you had it coming. Kidding, Jesus Christ! All right.
So as news started spreading, I guess with the neighbors and the family friends, they hundreds of people came, which seemed like really similar to the John Bonet that the Ramseys called everybody and their mom. So like just like with that case, a whole bunch of people came over, trampled everywhere, were in and out. It just messed up the whole crime scene. Yeah.
Which for the Bonet case was on purpose.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Another episode. Along with the nosy motherfuckers that came along, it's my note.
Right. Yeah.
Came those two police departments, military colonels, a Wall Street lawyer, and a World War I hero. And the forerunner of the CIA showed up to help.
Like I said, Lindbergh was this huge figure.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to touch a little bit, that he was an American aviator, a military officer, an inventor. He actually invented a machine that would help like pump oxygen to organs when they were outside the body. Like that, so that machine never went into production for people to use, but he did invent it, and it did help like lead the way of how to preserve organs outside of the body. He was the first person to accomplish the solo transatlantic flight, nonstop flight between the Americas and Europe, earning him a Medal of Honor in his accomplishment.
Big deal. I didn't know the Atlantic was a them they. That's crazy.
It's like Demi Lovato.
Tough guy. Ooh. A lot of semen.
So Charles Sr., not the baby.
Right.
It's
hard to be a senior when you're a baby.
Charles Sr. and these men got together, and so the military colonels, the CIA guy, the World War I, and his lawyer concluded that the kidnapping was done by organized crime figures in the time. Naturally, right. They thought that the latter was written by someone who spoke German and his native language. I'm going to assume him because he put gut. Sussly enough, Charles used his influence to control the direction of the investigation, which I also thought was
not allowed, typically. But if it's kind of like when I don't remember whenever W was either governor or president. I think it was when he was governor of Texas. Like his daughters got like pulled over for like a DWI partying in Austin, and they were just like, we're just not gonna do anything about this. And so
yeah, because I think like if my baby's missing, I don't have the mindset to start like coming up with theories, and right, or the mindset to I would be like, leave it to the authorities, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully my baby won't go missing.
It's also the 30s too. Shit was wild back in the 30s.
Yeah, so I nicknamed the squad of dudes the Military Wall Street Brain Squad. They ended up contacting this guy named Mickey Rossner, who was rumored to know mobsters. So they asked Mickey if they could hook him up with, if he's heard anything on the streets about this.
Ho, haven't heard anything. Ho. Sorry.
So Mickey turned to two speakeasy owners, Salvatore Salvi Spitali and Irving Bitts, for help. That's who you want to call if your baby's missing, two speakeasy owners.
Just that first guy sounded heavily mob influenced. This is Sal.
Salvi. Charles, and I put in parentheses, dad, not baby, endorsed these two shady speakeasy owners and appointed them as middlemen between his brain squad and the mob. Several upstanding citizens like Al Capone, Willie Moretti, Joe Adonis, and Abner Swillman.
Upstanding citizens?
Yeah.
Al Capone? Jesus, all right. That's the one thing they say about Al Capone,
He just didn't pay his taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke through those speakeasy owners from prison, offering help to return the baby in exchange for money and legal favors. Authorities concluded that these dudes were full of shit.
The mob? No way! Extortion? God.
So,
who could have foreseen?
And the day of my daughter's wedding.
You've come to me.
The morning after the kidnapping, authorities notified President Herbert Hoover of the crime. So that's like how big he was. That the morning after the crime, the president was involved with the kidnapping.
Hoover. Hell of a damn.
Even though the kidnapping was classified as a state crime. I put in parentheses, are you connected?
I don't care who you stole.
So
well, obviously, very well connected.
Very. After the president was involved, the FBI was authorized to also investigate the case. So everybody was all hands on deck. The mob, the local police, Wall Street lawyers, everyone was involved trying to find this baby. New Jersey officials announced a $25,000 reward for the safe return of Little Lindy. That was his nickname. He got a nickname.
Yeah.
The Lindbergh family offered an additional $50,000 reward of their own. At this time, the total reward was $75,000, approximately equivalent to, is that $1 million?
Yeah, almost 1.2 million. 1.17.
I'm not good with numbers.
I got you.
In 2019 money, which was a fuck ton of money considering this was during the Great Depression.
Imagine how depressed they were after the baby.
March 6th, a new ransom letter arrived by mail to the Lindbergh home, and the ransom had been raised to $70,000. I mean, if they just like turned themselves in, they could have gotten that 1.2 million.
I don't think that's how they work though. I don't think they give you the money for turning yourself in. I think it's got to be like people.
See, you're making it real complicated.
I'm not doing a damn thing. Now, if that was an actual thing that people did, like, hey, turn yourself in, give me $1 million. People do that all day.
As long as the baby's safe, right? A third ransom letter was mailed to Breckenridge, the family attorney. The note told the Lindberghs that John Condon should be the middleman between the Lindbergh family
The
and
penis
the
and the vagina.
kidnappers.
You always want a condom between the penis and the vagina.
So when I got to this part of my research, I was like, who the fuck is John Condon? John Condon was a popular Bronx personality and a retired school teacher who offered $1,000 if the kidnapper would return the child over to a Catholic priest. Again, just exactly who you want your child returned to.
Right. Don't worry. Give him to the priest. Nothing has ever happened.
Yeah.
Little boys and priests.
Yeah, he sent a letter to the local newspaper asking for it. He just injected himself in that, which is super shady to me.
Right.
Following the kidnapper's instructions, Condon placed a classified ad in the New York American reading, "Money is ready," and then Condon waited for further instructions from the kidnappers. Later, a meeting with the kidnappers, or the group of kidnappers who nicknamed themselves JAFSIE. They reached out to him. They're like, we're gonna meet at this cemetery in the Bronx, and we'll talk business, money exchange, BB exchange, whatever.
JAFS.
I.e., yeah, JAFC.
JAFC. It's my new safe word. Didn't work for the kid.
Yeah. So Condon goes to the cemetery and later describes the conversation with one of the representatives of the kidnappers, who called himself John. Yeah.
What the fuck? This
all sounds so wild.
This is so 1930 shit. Like, it really is. Like, this sounds like you could be in a movie, kid. You're gonna go to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Speak of the representative. See, give me the kid.
Yeah, so, like, later when the police was talking to Condon, they're like, what did he look like? He's like, I don't know, he stayed in the shadows. I couldn't really tell.
Fuck, it's like film noir shit. Like, what the fuck?
I picture, like, black and white trench coat hat and just in the shadow, yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't raining.
So, so Condon said that the kidnapper called himself John and told the following story. He said he was a Scandinavian sailor and was part of a gang of 3 men and 2 women, very progressive. The baby was being held on a boat, unharmed, but would be returned only for the ransom.
Oh my god, just kind of fucking Scandinavian person talking. Just, he's on the boat. No give him no harm. It's almost more out a little bit.
Condon then asked John representative for the kidnappers if they
Well, like
actually had the baby.
Was it more like Johan, right? The Scandinavian.
No, it's John. He asked John, "Do y'all have the baby?" and like, how do we know that the baby is alive? And John said, "Well, we're gonna give you the baby's PJs that he was wearing."
Not a solid piece of proof.
But at least you could identify, right, by the PJs that was your baby's PJs.
Fucking guess, man. No. This is super sketchy. So super
The whole
sketchy.
thing is sketchy. On March 16th, Condon did get baby Lindbergh's PJs by mail with another ransom note. So he takes the PJs over to the Lindbergh family, and they were identified as baby Charles' PJs. It wasn't specific how they knew it was his PJs, but they knew it was his. So Condon then placed a new ad in the home news saying, "Money is ready, no cops, no Secret Service, I come alone like last time." And it just so baffles me that the police wasn't involved, or, and this is a very famous family.
So we
Placing an ad
right.
to kidnappers, and you're telling me the police wasn't involved.
I mean, you have trouble finding roommates with ads. You know what I mean? Let alone trying to save a goddamn baby. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so we've got you have hearsay from the police, right? Because
Yeah.
they're getting their sources from, not them, from other people.
Yeah.
We have a retired teacher who's, for some reason, a personality in the Bronx.
Yeah.
If
Who injected himself in the investigation.
If you're an influencer in the 30s and all you got is that you're a retired teacher, what? This should show you
That's like if one of these TikTok influencers, like Addison Rae, was like, "I'll help find Gabby Petito," or like something going on like that. Like, this is all nuts to me.
I wish Dog would have found the guy. That'd have been so great if Dog the Bounty Hunter found Brian. Like, I wanted nothing more than Dog
But
to
he's
be
a
on the
bounty
case.
hunter. At least, like, he looks for people. This guy was, Bronx personality. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he was on the radio or if he was just known. He was just a popular guy in the Bronx.
He's a teacher. That's the thing. Like, he had retired. News from the Bronx. 1 + 1 = niet.
So, April 1st, Condon received a letter saying that it was time for the ransom to be delivered. The money was put in a wooden box that was made. It was custom made in hopes that the kidnappers would keep it and use it somewhere and they could identify it. Yeah.
It's a nice fucking box, man. Look at the craftsmanship.
It's a sweet box. The ransom money included a number of gold certificates, which wasn't known at the time. They were going to be taken out of circulation, so they were hoping that they would cash these certificates in and they would catch them. And the bills weren't marked, but their serial numbers were recorded. So
Sure.
they had a bunch of, that time, I guess, tracking devices, hope.
Gold certificate. Cash it in.
To be turned in. On April 2nd, Condon was given the note by an unknown cab driver telling him where to meet John. So then...
just trying to do his 9 to 5, man.
Here you go.
What are the odds? Fuck. What, the Lindbergh Baby?
Which I didn't see anything about this.
You serious?
This cab driver at all. I don't know his name or...
No one does. You're a cab driver in the 30s.
An unknown cab driver.
Right?
Involved. Like, man.
Gas was like 2 cents. No, I'm just trying to get my shift.
Condon met with John and told him that they were only able to raise $50,000. John accepted the money and gave Condon a note saying that the child was in the care of 2 innocent women. On May 12th, a delivery truck driver named...
Part of the kidnapping, you're not innocent.
I mean, the cab driver, the unknown cab driver.
Well, yeah, but that's a circumstantial whatever. These women are apparently part of this JAFC or whatever the fuck it's called.
Scandinavian sailor gang.
Oh, so it's probably YAFC. Yeah.
On May 12th, a delivery truck driver named Orville Wilson, which I thought was a very old name. Orville.
Oh, yeah. Love your popcorn, Redenbacher. Yeah.
And his assistant, William Allen, pulled over on the side of the road 4 miles south of the Lindbergh home to drain the snake. When Allen went to a group of trees to drain the snake, he discovered the body of baby Charles.
With his PJs? Because he already gave that up. What?
I'm getting to it. The skull was badly fractured, the body was decomposed, and it was obvious that animals had been, like, picking at the body, so he had been dead a while.
Got that tender meat, you know? It's probably the best meal they've had in a while.
And it looked like he was buried, like, quickly, like it wasn't a deep grave. So that I'm assuming that's how the animals got in there.
Oh, yeah, it's like an animal fridge. You gotta save that shit for later.
Right.
Not every time you get filet mignon, you know?
They took the remains to the nurse/nanny, I think, and to see if she could identify the baby. Why not the parents? I don't know. Which is so weird.
I mean, if
anyone knows,
if they're that big of celebrities, I'm sure the nanny spent more time with the baby.
They hadn't seen Charles in like 3 months. They didn't know what he looked like or what he wore.
Like, oh, you don't have a job yet? It's like, bitch, I'm 2.
So, the nanny did identify the baby as baby Charles by his overlapping toes on his right foot, and he was wearing a shirt that she had made. And it appeared that the baby had been killed by a blow to the head.
Something got me about that overlapping toes, because I know the parents didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, I just know that conceited Lindbergh fuck
took them to the parents and they were like, Betty?
Where's his face? I can't tell with the face. Yeah, but you see the toes? There's fucking toes. You know what I mean? That hurt though. That hurt me for some reason. Oh, that overlapping fucking toes.
And the shirt she made. Shortly after, Dad insisted on the baby being cremated, which I thought was weird too.
Fucking smart in the 30s though. Fucking covering his tracks better than those animals did.
In June 1932, officials began to suspect that the crime had been perpetrated by someone the Lindberghs knew. No
Like 90% of all crimes? Fucking shit.
It was not Al Capone.
Hey, it wasn't me. I was too busy getting syphilis. You know, whatever. Bibbidi boppity.
He had syphilis?
Yeah.
Hitler had syphilis too.
Oh, I got something about Hitler in my notes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll let you say it, because I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So,
it's part of the conspiracy.
After baby Lindbergh was found, one of the people that they suspected was one of their servants named Violet Sharp, who had given contradictory information regarding her whereabouts on the night of the kidnapping. It was reported that she appeared nervous and suspicious when questioned.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
She committed suicide June 10th, 1932. It's not funny.
It is a little. We got to make light of a dark. It's almost been 100 years. I think we can joke about it. Too soon?
Yeah, poor Violet. By ingesting silver polish. I don't know why I said. I read it wrong.
But damn, they were fashionable back then.
That contains cyanide. Just before being questioned for the 4th time. Her alibi was later confirmed, and they basically said that the police bullied her into suicide.
Whoa, so Violet?
Yeah, her alibi was confirmed.
But she still committed suicide?
Yeah. After her suicide, someone was like, oh yeah, she was with me.
Oh, by the way, sorry. It doesn't matter now.
I mean,
hindsight's 2020.
I would be nervous if I was some big name servant and they were like questioning me nonstop.
Yeah, just raise your fucking kid.
I mean, I don't even remember where I was yesterday.
You want me to tell you?
At work? At home?
Oh, that was just a joke.
Applebee's?
I was trying to be creepy, but I was watching.
Was I at Applebee's yesterday? No? See, it could have been me.
It's Friday.
We were at
Friday.
Applebee's Wednesday.
Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
Anyways, I would have been fucked like Violet. It was reported. Oh, I already read that. Condon was also questioned by police. His home was searched, but nothing suggestive that was relating him to the case was found. Charles Lindbergh stood by Condon during this time, so Charles was like, nah, it wasn't him. Again, leading this investigation.
Right, which is
super sus.
hella not cool.
So I'm going to pass it over to you now.
Yeah, so they convicted a guy who I'm gonna talk about here, and they actually executed him via electric chair, which, call me old fashioned, my favorite execution method is the electric chair. So
Mine's
efficient.
guillotine.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah,
Right?
seems like it would be. I don't know, like if you
Well, people would go. It was like going to the movies. You go into the hate.
right, but I'm just trying to think, like, in the long run, what's, like, cheaper to do? Because, like, lethal injection, it's so fucking expensive. It's so stupid. It's, like, 3 different things they inject. The alcohol swab for the needle so you don't get an infection before you die. It's just, it's fucking stupid. Like, right? Like, just, like, what, like, half a cent of electricity straight to your brain? Fucking done. But, and we can move on.
But you can make money selling tickets to the guillotine show.
Oh, yes, and I understand, like, the pharmaceutical industry. Way off topic. Way off topic. Like, let's get back to it. So I'm gonna talk about the events leading up to the arrest of this. I almost said gentleman. This guy was not a gentleman. Of this guy,
Who
and then I'm gonna
allegedly stole
I'm gonna talk about
Baby
I'm
Lindbergh.
gonna talk about the arrest, the trial, and then a little fun conspiracy towards the end. Now, I will say the fact that this happened in
Like I
the
said,
early
this-
to mid 30s, so many conspiracies.
This gives me like mad John Bonet vibes.
Yeah,
like everything was super sus.
yeah, and there's no way I would be able to do justice to all the conspiracies that people think were happening. So I picked my favorite because where I'm at with after doing the research is that either the guy who was convicted did it, or it was one other person. Like all the other ones, I read them, did a little bit of research.
Was it some guy named John?
Close. It is a guy we mentioned before.
Juan?
Don't.
Not them confusing
I
a
think-
Mexican accent with a Scandinavian one.
Are you from Sweden? No. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get canceled just for the no. Yeah,
Canceled.
just doing the fuck.
Cancelled.
No. Fuck. Alright. Anyway, so leading up to the arrest, right? So during the time where Baby Lindbergh was kidnapped to the arrest was almost 2 years. Like, it was 30 months they were trying to figure this out, which I think is
But
absolutely
he was
crazy.
4 miles away.
I mean, Elizabeth Smart was a similar distance away.
She was
and
actually kidnapped.
Right. So during all the ransom bills being sent, and all the money being sent, the cops and everyone actually tracked those bills via the serial numbers, and they let people know in the neighborhood of, hey, if you get any bills like this with these serial numbers, let us know, right? So they found out that a lot of the bills were being spent along the Lexington Avenue subway, which connected the Bronx with the east side of Manhattan, which included a German-Austrian neighborhood of Yorkville. Now, I would think a German neighborhood wouldn't be called York. Sounds very British.
Sounds
I'm sure they're York. Anyways. So on September 18th, a Manhattan bank teller actually sees one of these notes. It got to the bank, and they're like, "Oh fuck! Right, this is a gold certificate, right? I gotta alert the police." And once they actually tracked it down to a nearby gas station where like a deposit came from the gas station. Right? So they go to the gas station, and this is kind of where my conspiracy inklings getting sort of tickled at this point, because the gas station.
That's what she said.
The gas station actually recognized the bill, like the attendant at the gas station recognized the bill and wrote down the license plate of the person that paid with that ransom note.
But didn't report it?
Gave it to the bank. But once they talked to him, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. Here's his license plate. I'm like,
That's like an episode of SVU.
oh, really? Like, granted, I don't know gold certificates. Like, anytime I don't know how common they were back then at a gas station or whatever, but just automatically like, oh yeah, this guy looks suspicious. Here's his license plate. This is the Bronx. Like, I don't know, like it's just super. Like they were able to connect the dots that fast. Like it's just insane. So the manager actually wrote down the license plate
on the bill
and was like, this guy's suspicious. And he's like, yeah, it was probably a counterfeit, but still
That's
turned it in.
Still just a little stitch.
Just a little. It still turned it into the bank. He's like, yeah, I thought it was counterfeit, so I gave it to you. Like, in your deposit. And anyway, so they tracked down the license plate to a sedan owned by a guy by the name of Richard. I'm gonna butcher this last name. I'm so no.
Oh.
I don't think he was German. Just from the Ramirez, just guessing. Richard Hauptmann. Super German. Hauptmann. Haupt. Don't know. And he lived in the Bronx. He was a German immigrant, and he had actually a criminal record in Germany. Perfect person to pin this on. He actually robbed 2 women wheeling baby carriages and actually burglarized the mayor's house. Coincidentally, with a ladder.
That he built?
Didn't say that, but still went in with a ladder. Right. And I'll actually get to that. So I think you'll actually get a kick about this. Jesus killed. What was the baby's name? Isaac. He told Abraham to kill Isaac. God.
You meant the Lindbergh baby's name? I was like, no, Charles.
We're doing a callback in the 30s. My dad did it, so kill your kid. No. So Hauptmann actually illegally entered the United States. He hid at the bottom of a boat and then landed in New York City. From the Deutschland.
Build the wall.
Right. The seawall. So they tracked it down to Hauptmann. He was working as a carpenter at the time. So,
Homemade ladder.
Yep. They arrested him. When they arrested him, he was actually carrying a $20 gold certificate and had over 14 grand of this time's money of the ransom people in his garage. They arrested him, went through his shit, found $14,000 worth of the gold certificates from the ransom in his
But he could have easily just been an asshole that wanted the money.
Yeah, I would have taken it.
No. But then they returned the PJs.
But here's the thing, right? So he gets arrested. He was interrogated, and I know cops definitely deserve and get a lot of scrutiny now. But can you imagine in the 30s what the fuck cops were like back then? It's not like they got to this place overnight. There was no cameras. They beat the shit out of him over several days, right? And they were like, you took the Lindbergh Baby, and just went to town on this guy. And I liked the notes that I got that it actually said he was beaten at least one day. And I'm just if you're gonna... You think they stopped at one day? That just made me laugh. So Hauptmann actually stated that the money and the other items are actually left to him from his business associate and friend named Isidor Fisch.
Was he a fisherman?
It could be. It's spelled Fisch. I don't know if it's fish or fisk.
Or Feisch.
Feisch. It could be Feisch. Scheiben. I don't know if that means anything. I just love saying it. It's just things I think that sound German. So this happened when they started working on him was in 1934, right? So Feisch, taking that, actually died March 29th of 1934. So that was several months, obviously, before the September 18th. So the fact that Hauptmann was like, yeah, this guy gave it to me, but he went back to Germany and died, they're like, sweet alibi, bro, and didn't buy any word of it. So he said that Feisch left him the shoebox while he went to Germany, and then he opened the shoebox, and
it was like money.
Apparently Feisch owed him several. I thought I had it written down how much he owed him, but he owed him a lot of money, and he was like, this is mine now, according to him. Like, this is money and interest, no big deal.
I mean, it could check out.
Yeah, absolutely. So when they kept searching Hauptmann's home, they actually found a notebook containing a sketch of a similar ladder construction build of the ladder that was found at the Lindbergh's home. Talking about every time you said condom, my mind automatically heard condom. Like no matter what, like no matter what, no matter what you said. I know you said condom, but my mind was like condom. Condom. So now that I'm reading it, it's like.
If you want to sponsor us, Trojan.
Yep. Yep. We all could use a little protection.
Ribbed for their pleasure.
For everyone's pleasure. Don't assume that she only needs that ribbedness. Sometimes we do too. No? Trying to be all inclusive? No? Okay. You know what I'm talking about, Travis? Yep. Okay. So they found the ladder. They actually found.
Producer.
Travis is a very common name. So they not only found the sketchbook, but they also found the telephone number written down of Condon in the attic. Right.
But how hard was it to get his phone number? What did you say? The addict?
The attic? did I heavily pronounce that?
You did.
Wet my whistle. So.
The addict.
The addiction.
The drug addict.
So.
No, but I'm assuming he put his number. Right, money's ready.
Right. Call me. But it was not only Condon's number. It was also his address. And it was written, it wasn't in the attic, I'm sorry. It was actually written on a closet wall in his house.
That's weird.
Very weird place to write.
Have you ever had a pen but not a paper?
Yeah, but that wall? Like why are you in the closet, bro? This is where I'm going to need this piece of information.
Well, you know when you're on your phone, you start doing weird things. You start going weird places.
Yeah, but this
What's
is the 30s.
Address?
This is the 30s.
Hold
I'm sure
on.
they still had the... What was the phone number? Like 3 digits long?
You think the 30s phone number was...
Was that not it?
Our phone?
Was that not it?
You keep talking. I'm gonna...
Was that not it? It definitely wasn't... I know rotary was later than the...
You tell me they
It
didn't
had
have
to be...
cells?
No, of course they didn't have cells.
Oh, I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. Well...
Neither was he.
Comment below if you know.
When was the...
What the 1930s...
When did the phones go from this to... Fuck. Rotary.
You're telling me he didn't have WhatsApp?
No, he didn't. If he was Scandinavian, then WhatsApp. So after once they search all his house, and this is actually going to tie into a little bit of the trial, like they found a key piece of evidence, which was pieces of wood found in the attic, and it was examined by a wood expert. Like they actually had a wood expert, and they determined.
Is it a real expertise or is it like blood spatter and?
I'm gonna get more into that once I get to the actual trial. So they brought in the wood expert, thought it was the same wood, and so I don't know why this made me laugh, but so when they arrested Hauptmann, the first charge they pinned against him was extortion of the $50,000 ransom money, not the dead baby. Extortion. And then once they
money over babies.
Cash rules everything around me, cream dollar bills, y'all. So once they were able to keep them in, that's when they tacked on the extra things of the murder and kidnapping, and actually charged him with that 2 weeks later. So the trial lasted from January 2nd to February 13th. Really, really quick compared to the 30 months of the kidnapping it's very, very quick. He was found guilty, first-degree murder, sentenced to death, and this was actually called, and this made me laugh too, the biggest story since the resurrection. So to put it in retrospect, the Lindbergh Baby was the biggest thing, not since sliced bread, because I don't think that had been invented yet. The Lord coming back from...
Wait. Do you have the phone? The 1930s phone?
1892. What did you just say?
What?
No,
1892?
19. Rotary started in 1992.
1982. 1882.
18.
Oh,
So they were okay. I take that back. So before, after 1980, 1892. Am I dyslexic? What?
1882.
1880.
This happened in the 1930s.
Okay, so
There we go.
that's great. I can read that. 1892. Okay, so it was still
So they were
the Rotary. They're in the
close
Rotary.
to what's out.
They were. It's not that close, bro. Like it's not. It's not that close. So he was found guilty. Hauptmann proclaimed his innocence and appealed several times. Obviously failed. Was executed by the electric chair, and because of this case, they actually passed the Federal Kidnapping Act, which is also called the Little Lindbergh Law. Big fan of the alliteration back in the 1930s.
There's Big Lindbergh and Little Lindbergh.
Little Lindbergh Law.
As I was distinct in my notes as well.
Which also made transporting across state lines a federal crime.
Transporting babies? Or
Just kidnaps.
Okay.
Which it should just be called naps, right? Because you can kidnap an adult.
Adult nap.
Which seems strange. But adult nap is something we do after work.
On my break.
Anyway, so the trial. The trial was not only the biggest story since the resurrection.
The resurrection of the Lord.
Sure, there were bigger stories after that than this.
Nope.
Also called the trial of the century. Every hotel was booked for reporters. Everyone was covering this. Come on, get your newsstand here. Trial of the century, biggest story since the resurrection. That's all I'm hearing every time I read these noises. Come on, see? So this is where I know we talked how things were kind of getting fishy with.
Sorry, adding to that, they made merch for the Lindbergh Baby kidnapping that they would sell.
Which is available on our website. No, sorry. So sorry. No.
Along with the Zodiac button.
We're still making it. Yeah, it's gonna be a Zodiac button with the baby, with the crosshairs over it. So yeah, every hotel was booked, and I thought this is also where it's starting to get a little bit more fishy, because not only did Papa Lindbergh interfere with the actual investigation, right? I thought this was crazy. I'd never heard this. So, in exchange for Hauptmann's story, right, the newspaper hired this guy named Edward J. Riley.
I don't know why.
He was.
My mind went to Edward James Olmos. I was like.
So he was hired by the newspaper to serve as Hauptmann's attorney in order to get the story. Which is hella shady. Like
Maybe just everything in the 30s was shady.
So, yeah, clearly. Yeah, I mean, women couldn't vote. People of color couldn't vote, right?
Segregation.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. So the evidence that they had against him was the 20 grand that they found in his garage.
The ladder. And the addict.
They actually found some more of his letter saying that the spelling was similar to the ransom notes. But how hard is it to fake that, though? Like to be honest,
if you're consider me with my FBI training. I feel like people would misspell on purpose because you hear of people analyzing the way you write.
Like, I'm sure this guy wasn't.
I mean, when I kidnap a kid, that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm sure he couldn't even write.
Next ransom.
I'm sure he couldn't write well in German either. You know what I mean? Like he robbed 2 women with baby carriages. Like this doesn't sound like.
But he didn't rob the babies, did he? He didn't take the babies. He took their money. Because easy target. I don't know why I'm defending him. I should have been his attorney.
This turned around. The newspaper should have hired you.
Right. I'm a woman of color.
So a lot of big things. A lot of big things happen here. So they actually the prosecution hired 8 handwriting experts, including this guy named Albert S. Osborne. I hate how everyone wants to include a middle name, right? Like just a letter.
I don't want my middle name.
Or like it's just like to make him sound more. I don't give a fuck about your middle name. So Albert Osborne.
I think it does make it sound more official.
Yeah, but that's dumb. I don't like it. It's kind of like what they do with serial killers, like how they want to add like all their names to make them sound more.
But the 3 names makes it legit.
But does it?
It does.
Says who? Zodiac though. Just Zodiac. Anyways.
The Zodiac.
So it included Albert Osborne, and he's considered the father of the science of question document examination in North America. And he pointed out the similarities between the notes and the letters they found in his house.
Okay.
So,
real similar to John Bonet, because they like match the handwriting to the mom, essentially.
Stop giving away our
spoilers.
Our John Bonet. Yeah. Anyway, so the defense hired some experts of their own to dispute this, right? Two of the people they hired declined to testify, which I thought was interesting. The other one that wanted to testify demanded $500 before he walked on.
I would too. If I got to take off work.
Yeah, but you're part of the trial of the century. It just doesn't...
Had to secure the bag.
So going back to the chief wood technologist, which is what the guy was called the chief wood technologist, which was also my stripper name. He actually did a whole bunch of things, talking about the type of wood, direction of tree growth, milling pattern, inside and out the surface of the wood. The grain on both sides were apparently identical. Who's to say? Can you tell between two types of wood? Giggity. I just
wood expert.
Yeah. So moving on to that, I have so much notes that
I think we'll be fine if we go a little over.
It's going to be a lot over.
Oh.
So obviously I mentioned before the sketch that was in his books matched the ladder that was found out it. But what I thought was absolutely crazy was, you mentioned this earlier, that they found like the fingerprints and they were trying to match to see. That was like a brand new technology that they just because it's actually called silver nitrate fingerprints. So and this is what is actually kind of crazy that I'll get to here in a second. So they all and during the trial he actually stopped working as a carpenter once he had the money in the shoebox and was just living off that. So he was spending that shit everywhere. He was like, "What? Like I thought my friend owed me this money, and
I'm living life." Well, I guess it makes you think if he was the kidnapper, he'd be acting really dumb, spending all that money like that in that same area. Yeah.
So he actually said, because when we say $40,000, I mean that's a lot of money right now. But like
right?
$40,000 that he found was equivalent to over $600,000, right? So I mean, if I had $600,000, I mean it's he kept it and was just living was just living his wife. So his
wife.
He just kept living his life. But nice segue. So the tricks are for kids. The defense actually called his wife, whose name was
Violet.
Anna.
Oh.
To corroborate the story. So apparently,
one or two?
Apparently two. Too bad I don't know anyone by that name. So apparently he kept the shoebox full of money above, like on this cabinet, and apparently Anna would hang her apron every day on this cabinet, but it was too high, so she was like, "Oh, I never saw it. Like I don't know." More than one. So her testimony wasn't reliable, since she said she doesn't remember seeing the box there or not. And it just got really worse for him. Obviously, like I said, he was convicted due to the chief wood technology and the handwriting. And going back to the fingerprints, though.
How unreliable is that science from back then?
Yeah, but going back to the fingerprints, right?
Yeah.
So they were using that silver nitrate to do the fingerprints, right? They found all those fingerprints, not his, anywhere. And then what I thought was extremely sketchy.
The glove don't fit.
So after they found all these other fingerprints and not his, they wiped it clean after that, so they couldn't match any other fingerprints to it. And I thought that was absolutely insane. Like, yeah, his isn't here, but we found these other ones. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, it's like that's it. That's all you're. That's all you're gonna do. Like Jesus Christ. So
it's the 30s.
Unbelievable. So during his appeal of
they
this,
were working off hunches. We won't need that.
Gross. During his appeal, I thought
Who
there
has
was-
that bit? What, John Mulaney?
John Mulaney. Yeah. Gross. Now back to my hunch. Classic bit. Please don't sue us, John Mulaney. You're great.
We like you.
It's a great.
His wife's name Anna too.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. I think with 2 N's too. Classic.
I'll be honest, you know, with 1 N though. Probably a lot in Sweden.
I don't like Anna's with 1 N.
You know,
Anna's with 2 N's are solid.
Top-notch hoes get the most, not the lesser. So during his appeal, the New Jersey governor actually went to visit Hauptmann in his cell, and after they spoke, because he brought like a person who could speak German fluently, because he didn't want him to butchered English.
Yeah.
And so after their conversation,
they want his butchered English.
Well, yeah, I mean, just to keep it going, like, because he went up to him and was like, "Yo, like, this is," because he saw Lindbergh doing all these, messing with the investigation and the trial, and I'll get to a little bit more of that later. But he went and spoke to him, and he actually went to the Court of Errors and Appeals and was like, "Y'all need
to talk to him
to open this case up, because this is like super fishy," and obviously it didn't work because he got executed, right? But it's crazy that a New Jersey governor would.
I had hope for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no.
I was like, oh man,
guy's dead. Like he got caught, and you know, and what's crazy is that so he's dead, right? His wife died in 1994. Up until she died in 1994, she was trying to clear his name even after. She was
fucking ride or die.
Just yeah.
I'm telling you, those Anna with 2 N's, solid.
Always. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of things have come out since then. You know, the reporters and the independent investigators ran into a whole bunch of things. You know, fairness of the trial obviously was a big publicity thing as well.
Since the resurrection.
Yeah, so I mean, there was witness tampering. They actually found planted evidence that they found.
Not the New York, not the Bronx police being corrupt.
Yeah, and so in the 80s, Anna Hauptmann sued the state of New Jersey for the unjust execution. Obviously, didn't work out. And like I said, she kept fighting this until she died at age 95, which is wild.
Right, die.
So that's kind of a rundown. Let's get into the conspiracy that I want to talk about, which is absolutely crazy. So we can kind of admit that there's a lot of fishy things going on with this, right? And so,
can I talk about my conspiracy first?
Was it you?
Was it you?
No. What's up?
I think it was the neighbor boy.
He was a neighbor boy.
He was a neighbor boy.
She said.
Put on his dad's shoes to leave big footprints.
Wasn't good enough for her. Sorry.
Walked on the snow so it looks like adult footprints. Takes the baby, murks it.
How old was a neighbor boy?
This is all the premise of a James Patterson book.
Oh, god damn it. All right. Fucking, you got me again, James Patterson. Son of a bitch. Fucking fell for it again.
I fell for it. I was like, damn, is this accurate?
So the kind of gist of the conspiracy theory that I want to talk about is basically Daddy Lindbergh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling
baby.
him. Not baby, Daddy. Poppy.
Daddy, wait. Daddy, wait.
He could have been behind it all from the beginning.
Oh no shit.
Yes. So what's crazy about him is that, you know, obviously during this time we're kind of in the World War II era. So Lindbergh
hung out with Nazis.
Not just Nazis, with Adolf Hitler himself. He sat in the Olympic box with Adolf Hitler during the whatever the Nazi the Nazi Olympics was. I had it written down, but I have more notes. So yeah, he was actually with, I want to say 1932 Olympics. If I'm wrong, comment down below. Around that time, that Olympics, he actually sat in the booth with Adolf Hitler.
Imagine.
And I know you mentioned that thing that he helped invent that helped keep.
Yeah.
So he was actually 1936.
1936.
Thank you. Fucking close. So wait, that was after this. After the death, he was hanging out with Hitler. Fucking crazy, right? So okay, so this still I didn't even put that two together.
I mean, I told you he was involved with all the upstanding citizens.
Yeah, like Al Capone. So basically, he's a big piece of shit, from what I'm gathering, and so he was actually very into the idea of eugenics, right? Which Hitler was also very big into. So that's why he wanted to help create that device that help keep those organs alive, because the reason he started getting into that was because his sister actually had severe health problems as well, and then once the baby was born, baby Lindbergh, I'm sorry, I lost where I was, and I'm so freaking sorry.
I can fill in this gap. He actually had a family in Germany, I believe, as well. He had fathered 3 or 4 kids. He was a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, okay, so he actually considered his son like a weakling, because the baby Lindbergh had an abnormally large head and suffered prenatal damage when Anne Lindbergh inhaled toxic fumes as the couple made the record-setting cross-country flight. Because they actually did a cross-country flight while she was pregnant together and inhaled a bunch of toxic fumes from the plane, right? So because of all that, they started to think that maybe the baby got all these health conditions. So since he was a big proprietor of eugenics, he didn't want that baby to be considered his baby. Because of... No,
I think he did the opposite.
The pure blood? No, but that's the thing. So he wanted... He believed that heritable characteristics, and if you didn't have those characteristics, that baby should die. That was a belief he had. If you are not strong, you don't deserve to live, because we need to keep those strong genes, going along. And there was actually a book written by this guy named Perlman, and this is a quote from him saying, Lindbergh might well have felt like Abraham offering the Almighty his son Isaac, not to the biblical God, but to the God of science, with Carrel as the chosen instrument.
Steve Carell?
No. I think that because obviously he wasn't a scientist, but Dr. Carrel was who he helped create that machine with, right? Through twisted logic, that was how the Eaglet, which was his nickname, might live up to the expectations of greatness like those achieved by his father. So
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, so Perlman theorizes.
Case closed.
Theorizes that his son actually died on the operating table. They were operating on this 20-month-old, and when he didn't make it, that's when it was time to cover up what he was doing with that machine to try to help get rid of his, big head and fucking twisted toes. You know what I mean? Like, that's just...
Not the big head.
Let's plug the machine in and hopefully it works, right? So after it was dead, crack the head, hide it, do all these things, right? Because it's a weakling. Yeah, I mean, it was very easy to cover a crime. Back then, right? Especially if you're not looking at the fingerprints. If you're not looking at the fingerprints, scrub it off. Yeah, we just developed this new thing, silver nitrate fingerprints. We can actually see the print.
No,
get the fuck out of here!
Wood expert in here.
Really? Where's the chief woodologist? Show me the growth pattern. It's like, get the fuck out of here. If you are a chief woodologist or whatever the fuck you're called, I'm sure you have a legitimate job. I'm just saying. Maybe go after the fingerprint person. Maybe go after the thing that's unique to fucking everyone. So yeah, so Lindbergh was a Nazi.
What?
A Nazi sympathizer before World War II.
Oh no.
And actually went through Europe and America saying how America shouldn't get involved in World War II. But once Pearl Harbor happened, he was like, "I'm out. Y'all got to do what you got to do." Right? Like
He sounds like the Ted Cruz of that time.
yeah. Not only there's just so much of how horrible this guy is. I don't even know where to keep going. But yeah, I mean, just the idea of how great he was, believing eugenics, not Nazi sympathizer. No, well, I mean, the story of him, right? The story of him, and believing how personally he thought he was great. That he did all this because of
Eugenics.
His genes, and that he wanted to pass along. It's not. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he had a lot to do with this, and I just thought that this one actually tore me. Usually I'm pretty decisive on the conspiracy theories that I believe or not. For me, this one could go either way. Like either Hauptmann really did it, or they were planting this. The latter, he was a carpenter. It makes sense. I don't know how you just find a German carpenter that doesn't speak English or write that well, just to begin with, and then you, because they didn't know who.
What if it was just by
could
chance?
be. They just went to the German neighborhood in the Bronx. It was like, yeah, fuck that guy. And if he was a Nazi sympathizer, I almost said Nazi again. Jesus fucking Christ.
What is
if he was a
Nazi?
I don't know what a Nazi is. If he was a Nazi sympathizer, then he probably had connects.
Are you connected?
In the German neighborhood in New York, too. So, I mean, it was probably easy to pick out a guy, an undocumented immigrant, or illegal, whatever, coming over. Yeah, no. But he was white, so I figured we can give him the stinger for once. All right, fuck it. Not worth it. So I mean, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think this is conspiratorial material? Do you think do you think that Hauptmann did it? Do you think
I'm convinced that neighbor?
You're still going? Fucking James Patterson. Fucking where were you?
He saw this.
Where were you in the 30s? Was he alive in the 30s?
No, I don't think so.
It's a dumb fucking question.
I mean, he's still writing books.
Oh fuck, he's good. He's good. Just right along. So yeah, I mean, I thought this was a lot of fun. I really don't. I thought the research was a lot of fun. Yeah, because I really don't know. This one I'm really torn because like there's a lot of evidence, fishy as it may be. But I guess if I'll put it this way, if this trial happened today, let's say I don't know how many carpenters there are in the world. Let's say a German mechanic that worked on cars decided to kidnap allegedly a TikTok influencer's baby. I'm trying to make it all relative here. I'm trying to bring it around, right? But his fingerprints weren't there. He'd be acquitted. Like there'd be no. It's all circumstantial. There wouldn't be a lot.
No, but it's not about the evidence that you have. It's about the story you sell to the jury.
Sure, but I think now I'm just saying with what we know now about all these cases that we've seen, this being probably one of them, that we start questioning the story that they spin. I don't think he would be convicted. But I don't think he would have gotten the chair.
You have to think who the jurors are, though. It's not like you have a bunch of young people.
Oh, especially in their 30s. No. I'm just saying.
I mean, right now, even still, right now.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, it's more diverse than what it was in the 30s. For damn sure. But I'm saying, if a similar story happened now, I don't think he would get convicted, let alone executed.
I don't know, Stephen Avery. I don't know if he did it or not.
That'll be a different. Yeah, but no, but even he didn't get executed. You see what I'm saying? Like,
do they have execution in that state?
Wisconsin? I don't know.
Wisconsin.
They're probably letting them just to water poison him, or
they just gave him water.
Yeah, or the cheese. I mean, they just overdo him with cheese. Was that where he was? Wisconsin? Was it Michigan? It's probably Wisconsin. I think it's Wisconsin. I remember the goddamn documentary.
We're not a very well researched podcast.
Well, I mean, not for random topics we talk about, for sure.
I do the research, and I don't think about it until we sit down again, so it all sounds new to me again.
This was the first time I actually had more than 3 pages, and I'm not gonna lie, it fucked me up. It's a lot. I don't know how you do it.
It is a lot.
I like bullet
only
points
spoke about
and
like
this.
3 ransom letters. There was 7 total.
So
There's so much of getting into this.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's almost 100 years of
Sleuthing.
people are still talking about it. And like I said, the Hoffman's wife died in '94. That's not that long ago. That's a you ago. You know what I mean? That's crazy that we're still fighting at 95. Fucking. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, this was crazy. If I had to decide one way or the other, I think it was Lindbergh.
One way or the other. I think it was Daddy.
I think it was Daddy. Hoy puppy. What was you? Just the thoughts coming ahead. I have no filter. But anyways, thank y'all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun researching. Let's unload our handles. So we're at Conspirial on TikTok. CONSPIRIAL. We're Conspirial on Facebook.
Drop us a like.
Conspirial Podcast on YouTube, where you're going to be watching this or listening. Conspirial_podcast on
Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can follow me at Annadez on Instagram. ANNADEZ. Solid 2 N's.
I just have one just to follow us. Very nepotism in and of itself. Or email suggestions, corrections we need to make. If we're wrong about stuff, we'll admit it and we'll do an update and apologize. Email us at conspirial@gmail.com.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Please add that
Hit
plus
the notification bell.
Notification button, bell. Fuck.
Yeah. Do you use socials?
Not really. Not. I really don't. I'm doing my fucking best.
You're still doing the the phone or whatever.
Apparently, I thought we had
30s.
one. So yeah, I'm really bad. I'm so sorry. But yeah, let us know what you want us to cover next. You know, we're trying to do an array of different topics. So
yeah, and
whatever.
stay tuned for our Halloween episode. We're gonna record on site somewhere where crimes happened.
Ooh, stay tuned. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Adios.
See ya.